Hello YouTube, thank you for tuning in. And today I would like to, as I'm showing you some Skyrim gameplay here, I would like to talk to you about E3 that has come and gone. So let's start with the consoles that were presented. And well, first of all, we had Microsoft, and Microsoft again did not do a good job in presenting its Xbox One, and even raised more questions. And it was really, people didn't really like it, what they saw. And so Sony could, take the spotlight and present their PlayStation 4. Too much cheers because, well, all the things that Microsoft is planning to impose on the Xbox One, Sony has no plans for doing that on the PlayStation 4. The restrictions on lending and renting and reselling of games. And I think Sony will basically will have a jump start, I think, when they come out with their console. And it's funny to see because the Xbox, when the original Xbox was released, and Microsoft really introduced themselves to the world as a console manufacturer, and they really took the lead, as well as with the Xbox 360. But I don't see them leading in this generation that is coming. And it's sort of funny because Microsoft, I think, is really looking to the future, and the future is definitely going to be digital all the way. I think in the end we will, I think boxed games will completely disappear. There won't be any boxed games anymore, and I think that is something that Microsoft is seeing in the future, and they're right. They're right. Only I think that the consumer at this point, in 2013, is just not ready for it yet. And teenagers now and people who are in their 20s are used to buying games, boxed games. So this whole generation of teenagers and people in their 20s, they are used to buy games in shops or online, but they're also used to buying games on Steam and other digital platforms like Gamersgate, or buying them on the Xbox Live Marketplace, or the PlayStation Network. But it's people are not ready. In the end, people are sort of afraid for the future, and it's quite normal, I think, that we all want to stick to the old ways, sort of conservative way of thinking, because the way we like how things are right now, that you can buy a game in the shop or online, have the option, and we don't like restrictions. And it looks like Microsoft is just running, is jumping the gun, is running in front of everyone at this point, and Sony, with their conservative attitude, is just, they're taking this wait and see approach, and they are trying to please the consumer at this in this point of time. And I think a lot of people will choose the PlayStation 4 over the Xbox One. And I think price is a major factor there, because price, I think, is very important for especially for teenagers who don't have the money, or students, or people in their 20s that don't have a big job or whatever. So they're probably going to choose one of these consoles, and they're probably going to go with PlayStation, just because of the price, alone for that. And if you realize that most games will probably come out on either system or even on PC, then it's an easy choice, I think. Well, of course, you have the traditional games that are limited to certain consoles, like Gears of War on the Xbox 360 and Halo as well. And on the other hand, you have Sony with Metal Gear Solid and Infamous and all those games. And as we're talking games now, these are also the games I'm really looking forward to. Not to mention Witcher 3, that looks like an even better version of Skyrim, but only bigger, and I don't know, it's just one of the most anticipated games that are out there. I'm also interested to see how CD Projekt Red, the developer of Witcher 3, is going to deal with all these MR restrictions. If one more thing about the Xbox One, if I'm really looking at myself at this point and ask myself, does it really matter, all these restrictions for me? I can live with them. Let's talk about the lending stuff. I don't really lend any games. I barely do that. I might sell my games on a marketplace or whatever, but I don't lend games most of the time. I don't rent games. Renting games, I don't see the point, because I just wait when a certain game that has limited gameplay or it doesn't have a lot of hours to put in. I just wait and see when the price drops, and then I'll buy it. So I'm never gonna buy a 5-hour game for $60, really. So that's not a problem. And the other thing is the buying of secondhand. Well, secondhand, I do buy sometimes games that are secondhand, especially on Amazon, because they have significant price drops. But I don't do that often. I usually wait and see when games drop in price, and then I'll buy them, and then I'll put them in my collection. And that's basically it. And I really love Steam and their sales of games that are a little bit older, and they do all these promotional sales, and that's just amazing. You can get a bundle of games and on PC, and your save games are in the cloud. And that's fine. And I also think there's a lot of potential in Microsoft's idea or their strategy to using processor power in the cloud at the background when playing a game. That's a really interesting technology that they're trying to implement here. So in the end, Microsoft might have the future as we're going there. You know what I mean? We're going digital all the way. We're going to buy our music, our games, and whatever on the internet. That's just the way it goes. And but we'll see what happens. And it's been a very interesting E3. To conclude this video, it's almost 10 minutes. It's been interesting because we're sort of like on this, on this frontier of the future, and we're standing with one leg in the here and now, and in the other leg we're seeing the future being the path to the future, and how manufacturers of game consoles deal with that. Maybe in the end consoles will disappear. Who knows? We just plug into the cloud and get our games there and play them online all the time. It's intriguing. It's intriguing. So that's really the impression I got from E3. We're on the verge of the future, but we just don't want to see it, or maybe we're just a little bit scared of it. But still, it's going to happen. And but for me personally, buying a PlayStation is the best way at this point, especially because of the price. It's cheaper, and I just want to play the games that come out on it, especially Second Sons and Metal Gear Solid. That's going to be really amazing, I think. So only for those games I'm probably going to buy a PlayStation 4, and it's going to sit below my television and it looks like a cool machine to have under my television. That's really the main reason I'm probably going to buy a PlayStation 4, and I don't need Kinect or anything like that. I'm not waiting for that. So yeah, these are my thoughts. What do you think? Is this who has the better plan for the future? Let me ask you that. I think that's an interesting question. So yeah, let me know. Thanks for watching.